Welcome to the Batcast.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
I'll get drive-through.
This is why Superman works alone.
Murder me!
Martha, why did you say that name? Vengeance. I am the knight. I am Batman!
Thank you, Luke, for your beautiful introduction. This is the Batcast episode 2. I am Jake Williams, as Luke said. That is Luke Moyer. He also did the voiceover before this episode. Let's get into it.
Yes.
We're here to talk about something important, something that everybody else is talking about, and we're late to this party, but it's not our fault. We just now decided to do this podcast, okay? It's not our fault. It's not. It's not. But today, spoiler-heavy review of Batman, The Killing Joke,
Yeah.
the new DC original animated movie. Rated R, first time ever. I don't think it really deserved an R.
As I thought it was going to be. So it really wasn't necessary. I think they could have, and I might get a lot of heat for this, but they could have elaborated on some of the impliedness and
If he actually raped her or not?
yeah.
I think that takes away the mystique of the story.
It's true, but like
We're getting ahead of ourselves. So let's start at the beginning. Let's talk about what everybody is complaining about on the internet because we have to complain about something. It is that there's a Batgirl prologue, which is about 30 minutes. Because the Killing Joke proper, like the actual Killing Joke story itself, isn't a very long story, so it would roughly be about 45 minutes. So they tacked on the prologue to get the movie in theaters for the one-night events that it had, so they had to make it feature length.
which I understand why they did it.
I get that too, but it's still. I guess we'll just get into it right now. I think the Batgirl prologue would have made a lot more sense if it was her and Batman capturing Joker, something like that. I would not have disliked that. The fact that she finds Batman attractive, the fact that she does this for the thrill, she's athletic and everything, that doesn't bother me. The bat sex does. Because then you make it seem like instead of getting into crime fighting because she wanted to, because she was inspired by Batman, she just wanted to fuck him.
Yeah. Because after she does, she quits.
She gets moody and quits, and he doesn't talk to her because he's awkward about it, she's awkward about it, and it's just...
It just felt too much like a high school drama.
And the villain was stupid. Paris France was stupid in this because he just has an affection for her, so...
Again, one of the problems I have with it, and I know a lot of feminists will have a problem. The same problem I do is because they objectified her. It was like he was, hey, I'm just doing this so I can like win you over, kind of thing.
That he has a prostitute that wears the mask.
Yeah,
and
the fact that and the fact that
disturbing gag,
Batman basically. It just made Batman seem like he was just using her for the sex, too. Like, he was just like, hey, I'll fuck my fucking daughter.
I'll have sex with my best friend's daughter and then not talk to her ever again.
My best friend's daughter. My son's ex-girlfriend.
That's the thing. Is I wish it would have been more in that they were going after Joker and pushed that aspect of it. Because...
Well, if they just switched Paris with the Joker, it would have made more sense. As to why it was so...
They made their choice. I know everybody hates it. I don't necessarily hate it. I just think it was a good idea and concept, and it should have been delivered in a different way. You should have had the Joker be the villain. You should have had him and her, like Batman and Batgirl bringing down the Joker, and then she quits because of all the things you saw with Paris, you see with Joker. Now imagine that. That would
have been so much cooler.
Like torture her mentally. And then... not like say like a year after that, he shows up and paralyzes her, and
may or may not fuck her while she's gasping for air.
Adds so much more to the story? Wouldn't that be a better story?
I mean, it's probably good for her if he did, because she wouldn't have been able to feel it.
That's so wrong.
But
it's true, but it's wrong.
But yeah.
But see, that's where I think it could have went. So I don't think it's horrible. I just think it should have been executed differently.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Because the first half hour has almost no like tie-in. Like it doesn't even.
It's like a short film. It's like one of those Disney shorts you see, like for a picture movie, like with a 30-minute version of that, and then like, oh, here's your movie. Here's what you came to see. It just doesn't feel attached at all to this story.
Because it almost serves no purpose.
It doesn't serve a purpose, like other than to just be like.
Other than just to show people hey, she lost her legs.
She becomes the woman in the refrigerator now, even more so than she was, because now it's like she had sex with him, and she gets paralyzed. So now he has a bigger incentive to go after this because hey.
Let me just say, he
like,
split that pussy in two. Am I right?
And that's another thing, like. The dialogue in this movie, like that section of the prologue, I was like, it's not that bad. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yes.
But like some of the like her gay best friend was so stereotypical, like.
And I thought the gay theme was hard.
Dumb. And then the fact that, and it was funny because I was watching it with Ashley, and she just thought it was really awkward because I was with Ashley, Gomez, and my former roommates, Gomez and Scott, and we were watching it, and it was so awkward to watch because that sex scene wasn't sexy. It was awkward. It was weird.
It was like, oh, I landed on your face.
Oh,
Let me fuck you.
Fight you, and then just take off
it's
my
all
top.
that sexual tension built up, man. It's just like.
Was she 18 though?
I'm fighting it. Yeah, she was in college.
Okay, I was making sure because I didn't want Batman to be.
She's a librarian at the college that she attends.
You're right.
Which. I like too when she's running in from the courtyard into her apartment, whatever. She's like on campus, and it's like something straight out of the animated Mr. Freeze movie, because the campus looks the exact same thing as when she's kicking ass, like in this like spotlighted like courtyard. Like they literally pulled like the pictures of it into that. It's pretty cool.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
but I just feel like after she has sex with Batman, though, it's like, how was it bad? And she's like, no, it was fantastic. I was like, really?
Yeah, it's fucking Batman. Been around the block.
Bat dick. Yeah, it was just, it was shoehorned. I don't think it was a good choice. That I think unfairly dampers the rest of the movie because the actual adaptation is like brilliant.
It's literally almost panel for panel. Like,
and they got Conroy and Joker, or
Mark
Conroy
Hamill.
and Hamill as Batman and Joker respectively. Like that was perfect decision to do that. And some people's like it kind of feels like it ruins your childhood. I don't think so. I think it is
another
way to make that because that series has such a legacy on Batman. And, I mean, they rewrote Mr. Freeze's origin. They created Harley Quinn in the cartoon. So I feel like this is it just adds to its legacy. 'Cause who better to tell one of the most definitive Batman stories than these two
other
guys?
than the originals. Like, the greatest.
Batman, everybody's Joker, animated-wise. So, I mean.
Yeah, because Conroy and Hamill, with the cartoon, they kind of, like, changed Batman. Like, I don't think Batman today would be as great if it wasn't for the 90s. Series.
It's a great show because as a kid you appreciate it because it's Batman, and as you get into become an adult you appreciate it because of the themes and the fact that it's a very adult show. It just doesn't have swearing or excessive violence, and sometimes they're goofy episodes for kids. They are, but yeah. So we jumped around with the prologue. Now we're gonna get into the proper story, the actual adaptation. I loved it a lot. I think for the most part, there's even dialogue that's ripped.
Oh yeah, like and I noticed as I was watching it for the second time, they nod at certain panels from the comic book because they do like a freeze.
Like they show all the different Jokers.
Yeah,
there's
and they like
Joker, there's Ledger's, there's
they freeze certain parts of the movie where it's like just like a standstill scene,
mm-hmm.
and it's like a nod saying like, "Hey, this is straight out of the comic book, and then they start doing the whole rest of it.
Yeah.
Which was really cool.
One of my biggest critiques of this is not. I mean, I understand a lot of criticism is we don't need it. Like, we wanted it forever, but we really don't need this story because we've seen this story multiple times. This type of story. I mean, The Dark Knight. Everybody considers the greatest Batman movie ever.
Yeah.
It is The Killing Joke, but instead of Gordon, it's Dent. So, and then Harvey Dent, and then it becomes Two-Face, which makes it, I think, a cool, like, even better story.
I really wish that they would have gotten.
Either way,
they would have done the storyline with him in the third act.
Either way, that didn't deter me from wanting to see this movie. It didn't deter me from buying the Blu-ray. I liked it.
As a Bat fan,
you kind of
got to get it when it come out. You got to.
I saw it digitally first, and then I bought the Blu-ray.
I pre-ordered the Blu-ray.
But it's a good. I love it a lot, and the actual. And this is what I love about these DC animated movies is I'm okay with major motion pictures like Batman v Superman, Justice League, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman, all these characters. I'm okay with them doing their own theatrical version of it and their story of it, but I want these animated movies for DC fanboys like you and I to be
well, it's
able
almost
to,
like it's almost like the
directly
animated
from
movies.
The books. I mean,
it's almost like the animated movies are like the nod to say, "Hey, this is what happens in between your cinematic movie."
Well, and I think it's an interesting way to say.
But sometimes they like tie it in, like explain
it's
the
an
downtime.
interesting way to show a story. Because like I thought, whenever you read a comic book, you hear Kevin Conroy.
Oh yeah.
Whenever you have a Joker story in the comics, you think of Mark Hamill. And so I love what these DC animated movies do, where they just directly bring you panel to screen, like better than a major release could. And I understand that. I'm okay with that. I like these being niche. I like these being or niche, however you want to say it.
Nick.
So that's why I love the fact that it's almost word for word adaptation, and you can tell that the people that handled it, other than the Batgirl crap at the beginning, really care about the material and really love that story, and it really shows through. And like Hamill's performance, my God, he really elevates this movie. Like
I wish they would
the Batgirl stuff leaves a bad taste in your mouth, but once you hear those two interact, you forget about it, and you're like, this is the part I wanted to see. This is the awesome fun I would have with this.
I wish they would do like a Joker musical with Mark Hamill just singing as the Joker.
That was probably my least favorite part.
Because I just like how he sings. I just want a musical of it.
One of my favorite bits in the Funhouse is when
midges come.
they slap the wig on Gordon and they make him a judge.
Yeah, throw the book.
And when he throws it, it shoots up Batman. That was probably one of my favorite ones. I like that one a lot. What did you think of the shooting of Barbara Gordon? What did you think of that? Because again, that's direct. Everything that happens in that scene is directly from the book.
Yeah,
word for word.
I love that. Like I liked it. I like the way they did it, to where she's like opening the door, and she sees like the seriousness in his.
Well, here's the thing that I don't think
smile.
There'll be a critique on this movie in a second. Go ahead.
Like she just opens it up as she's talking about how scary he used to be to her, and he brings her back to her childhood of just being petrified of this motherfucker, and then she literally just knows that she's about ready to die. Yeah,
and knows it's not gonna end
he just pops it, and then the fear of him making a point.
The thing with this is, and this isn't the movie's fault. I'm not docking the movie for this, but it was a great moment, but it would have been so much better. It looked so much better in the book, because the book, Brian Boland's art is amazing. It is so haunting and terrifying, and it's so you can't necessarily translate that to animation, so it's not their fault. I thought that moment was great, but I don't know. And it looked, I think, as close as it could to the comic book. Like the silhouette of the like his pupils and then his teeth. That's all you see, and doesn't even say a fucking word. Just shoots her. And then, this movie is a horror movie. It is so unsettling that you don't feel comfortable at any point in this movie, and I can see how that turns people off. It's the same reason that turned people off from the book. It's like, it's a very grim, nasty, ugly Batman story.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I love the character, and this is why I'm okay with not everybody liking it. You know, that sounds hipster to say, like, well, they don't like my Batman. That's okay, because I liked it before it was main. Like, I don't want to sound like that,
yeah.
but guys like you and I,
The OGs.
that do a friggin' podcast about it, we care about this stuff. So what did you think of him unbuttoning the shirt? Did you feel uncomfortable?
I felt uncomfortable.
Right? It's just unsettling.
I was just like,
and it's worse watching it with a woman. It is worse watching it with Ashley because, to be fair, this story picks on women in a way.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They just have Barbara in there to get shot. And even more so earlier that she's just there to fuck Batman. Like,
Yep.
it's horrible. This is what I was talking about earlier. So watching it with a woman, she's just so disgusted. Like, she looked at me like with a gnat. Like, this is sick. This is
Yeah.
gross. And then the stuff with the prostitutes later, and then it's implied even more that he banged her. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Like,
That's the
I think
beauty
it's
of it.
funny, though, that before the cops even know that he's out, he goes and gets a hooker. Like, I thought that was funny. The way that they did that was kind of messed up.
Yeah, the way that it was, he probably fucked Barbara after he paralyzed her when he stripped her naked.
Yeah.
That's the story in itself. I thought it just was delivered well. Again, maybe they talked about the implied rape and maybe the shooting itself. Maybe that's what got the R, but I feel like they've done terrible stuff with their PG-13. Like, watch Son of Batman. See how much bloodshed is in that movie. Like, they are carving people up at the beginning of that movie. So I don't know. Like, the violence is never that bad.
I liked the
Except for
Joker's dialogue, like some of his like comments. It was just like,
So
like when he's telling.
when he shoots her and said that's the problem with librarians.
Yeah.
She thinks she's a coffee table edition. That's fucked up.
But we don't. I usually don't have this much trouble from a softback. Like shit like that. Like it's just dark and fucked up. But like I like the when he's fighting Batman and he's saying, "Past is, I remember it one way, and then I'll remember it another way.
Like it to be multiple choice.
If I'm gonna have a past, I'd prefer it to be multiple choice," which I thought was just like,
which is again hearkening. This is the impact that this book had on Batman, and this is.
and then like the Dark Knight, how he's
the Dark
constantly
Knight, he
telling a
changes
different
his
story.
origin story, and like it's just like I think the Dark Knight was the live action version of this story.
Yeah.
Is it better than this one? That's not fair. They're different
It's
realms.
the
You can't
OG,
compare
man.
an animated movie like this. It's I don't know because this is an actual adaptation. That one's loosely based on it.
That was just
But I feel like that's the closest you would get to this kind of movie.
probably.
I don't think they would just bring in
And then
to
at the
paralyze
end, the final, when he's telling the joke, and then he just busts out laughing. And what I want to what I'm going to ask
All right,
you though
let's get
for
to
the
end.
for the
Let's get to
final
end.
is
Well, before that, I love the upside down house gag.
Yeah.
Like I love that, and the fact that Batman is letting him hit him and beat him up because he just knows he's got a plan.
yeah.
Like he's getting actually hurt, but he's like, I got it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that happens. We get to the final scene, just exactly like the book, panel for panel, just like the book. So what's your thoughts? Panel for panel.
At first, I didn't understand the joke at the end,
I didn't either. It took me a second.
and I was like, because your light goes out when you start going crazy. So him turning the flashlight off is like, you're gonna put it out when I get halfway there. So he's like, my light went out. I'm gonna be crazy if I do what you just did. And I had two meanings for it, but I forgot the second one.
So anyway, how do you feel about the ending?
I liked it. I like how it is implied, but it's not proven that he's just choking him out. Like I like to believe that he does,
Well, it's just like the book and its delivery, and I thought that too. I thought that he doesn't kill him, but I was listening to Grant Morrison's explanation of it to Batman, or to Kevin Smith on Batman and Batman, and he was saying like it's really delivered home in the animated movie. It's they're showing a laugh. There's a lot of laughter, but if you look when Batman's coming in, he's not hugging him or holding his shoulders. His arms are around his neck, and the laughter stops. So the implication is he snaps.
Yeah,
his neck.
and that's what I was gonna say about the
think he
movie.
kills him.
Is Batman's still laughing?
Yeah, and Joker
stopped.
Batman
So,
kills him.
I think he does.
Alan Moore was trying to write the definitive Batman
Just
Joker
just killing him,
ending.
having enough. Because what's one man versus millions over the course of his reign?
Then Batman loses. His whole fight against Joker is moot now because he had to kill him.
I don't care that it's that. I think
what
that he's
I'm saying-
finally hit the
but
point where he
but
realizes
that's what I'm
if I
saying
continue to let this guy
is
do what he
that's-
does,
That's the brilliance of this story. It's what makes it even more sad and worse is the fact that Joker won because Batman killed him with this ending. So there's two ways you could look at it. It's very open ended. It's an interesting way to do it. I think Batman kills Joker, but it was a definitive story. Like that's the end of Batman to me. That's the end of Batman and Joker because Batman can't continue to do what he does because he's like, I killed a guy. I broke my one rule, and he made me do it. He beat me. So it's rough.
Mm-hmm.
Open interpretation. But then Batman be like, "Fuck it, I'm going back."
Yeah, because
I ain't
he
no-
is the bat.
I ain't no bitch.
I ain't no bad bitch.
So anyway, overall, scale of 1 to 5 bats. Because when we review things on this, it's gonna be bats.
On a scale of 1 to 5 bats, I'd probably give it like a 3.5.
3.5.
3.5, because I like it, but everything that was good in the second half was lost in the first half. So overall,
Batgirl really drug it down for you.
Yeah. I mean, I loved it. I liked it, but like you said,
it was so
unnecessary. So I mean, for authenticity, I'm gonna cut it down a little bit because the second half was awesome. It was on point, but like again, didn't need the first half, so that's gonna cut that down. The uncomfortable level was at an all-time peak, but it kind of hampered it. So
I would rate it a 3.5 as well. 3.5 out of 5 bats.
if we didn't have the Batgirl scene,
Yeah,
I probably would have
it's
been like a solid 4.5, 5. But
that's the problem. It's kind of a disappointment because I expected it to be 5 out of 5, but just didn't quite have it. And that's okay.
like they could have done what they did, just kept it an all Joker story instead of it just being like,
Remember that?
oh
remember
shit,
your best friend's daughter that you fucked? Yeah, he shot her and paralyzed her.
like
It was fine. Anyway, that's been another episode of the Batcast. I am one of your hosts, Jake Williams, at a Lumberjake on Twitter. He's the other host with the most, Luke Moyer, at Lucas Moyer on Twitter. Follow us at 402 Films there as well.
yeah, that's
Same-
been another episode of the
Same bat time,
Batcast.
Same bat
Ow.
channel. Bitches.